We all got that one special character you really like, right? If you don't, then maybe one day you will. Or you won't, which is fine too. If you take a single look at my channel, you probably realize I really like Nier. Now the question is, why? I'm here to explain it and spread the Nier propaganda. For me, Nier is basically the perfect character, which is a description that is pretty vague. What makes a character perfect? Well, that's one thing that is going to be different for everyone. A great character arc, being a funny comedy relief character that you always laugh at, being a total badass. A mix from all of those things. Maybe you personally relate to one. It can be anything as long as you really love them. They don't even have to be written well. Sometimes you just connect with that one certain character for no reason at all. Nier isn't one of those though, because I got many reasons for it. Nier just has the perfect amount of everything for me. I personally love bratty characters and Nier fits it perfectly without ever becoming overbearing. In many other shows or games, a brat can be a two-sided sword. They can be there to bring some fun into the interactions, but many just kinda fail for me. Either they are too boring to really make it fun, or they try too hard and become annoying instead. Even then I still like them though kinda. Nier walks the perfect line between being a brat when she wants to and being a serious person. The video is obviously gonna be full of spoilers about Nier and some story parts of Xenoblade 2, and a tiny bit of 3 too, so if you never played those games and still want to, then you should do that, or maybe you don't mind spoilers. Her character arc is all about accepting who you are and also being accepted by others for who you are and not keeping bad company, unless it's bad company too, that one was. And also finding a place to belong to, which are some of the most relatable arcs a person can go through in real life. Almost everyone had thoughts about this before, at least I would assume so. Such arcs can humanize a character despite them not being real, obviously. But you can kinda put yourself into their shoes if you went through similar things, or maybe they even help you coming to terms with yourself and finally wanting to change something. At the start of the game, she's a part of Torna, which is a bunch of criminals, but we all have done crime before, so it's not too important. Because she thinks she fits in there because they're all outcasts who are getting chased and are different with their blade or flesh eater traits, thinking that the world has wronged them and the only way to fix that is to basically end it. For them, that was their happy little family despite knowing what they're doing is fairly wrong, and in the end most of them didn't fully believe in their cause anymore, but at that point it was too late. Obviously there's much more to that, but the video isn't about them, just a bit. Instead of having a bad outlook on life like the rest of them, Nier was still a fairly optimistic person, a realistic optimist. She knew the world can be beautiful, but also pretty damn ugly at the same time, always wavering between these two sides. She was basically roped into joining Torna without even knowing the full truth of it, because if she did, then she wouldn't have joined them in the first place. In comparison to that, you got Rex and the rest of the main group, just easily accepting her for who she is, even when they eventually realize the truth of it because she's hiding some things. And with that, I don't mean her daggers that she has on her waist, which she never actually uses, and I just wanted to mention them because they drive me crazy with how little purpose they have in her design. They are cool though. You could say it was mostly Rex's doing with his happy-go-lucky attitude and seeing him just easily accepting anyone as long as they're doing the right thing, but also giving people a chance to better themselves. Rex didn't know that Torna was bad and were doing bad things. Then when he learns about it, he does not care that Nier was a part of it because he saw she wasn't totally okay with what they were doing and knew she's not a bad person at all, even if she teased him a lot earlier already. Early on, Nier even brings up the possibility of Pyra being a liar and an imposter, and he just goes, nah, she can't be. Why? Because I say so. At that point she knew he's extremely naive but has his heart at the right place, and those are the ones you can trust the most. Also love how Rex just pushes Tora away in his cutscene and how Pyra gasps at it. Another big moment that most likely gave the push to feel accepted and wanting to come clean with her actual existence was the bath scene. In most games, bath scenes are there for a little bit of fan service, which I do like too every once in a while, and in most bath scenes you also have that peeping Tom who always tries to peep too much and gets caught and gets punched to the moon so he gets tons of bumps on top of his head stacked on top of each other. Not here though. You might expect Towa to do something like that, but even he has his principles. Here it just foreshadows one of Nier's biggest moments later on in the game, but you would never be able to know it since you won't know what the other girls in the bath saw. Unless you have a giant brain and already make the connection here that she's a flesh eater. Earlier in the game we already met another flesh eater with Cole who was Minnow before, and see how a flesh eater's core can look like. Jin's core obviously looks different, but most flesh eater cores look like Cole's or Nier's. In the bath scene you can't see it though yet, but it tells you that something is off here. For people who have never played Xenoblade 2 or forgot about this, here's a little short recap about what a Flesh Eater is. There are humans and blades. If a human connects with a core crystal, they can make a blade appear out of it, if the right conditions are met. This blade now belongs to the human and will live as long as the human lives. If the human dies, they die too and become a core crystal again, so another person could make them appear, but their whole memories would be wiped. If only the blade dies in battle, then it turns back into a core crystal and can be reawakened after a short time, but also with its memories wiped. Unless the core crystal gets fatally damaged, then it's game over. Blade Eaters are people who were fused with one part of a blade's core crystal, making them live extremely long lives and giving them special powers. But the blade who lost part of their core crystal will now die forever if they die, no more returning to a core crystal. Flesh Eaters are blades who ate their driver or another person who also fused with parts of them, which now makes them half human and half blade. They can now have their own blades and have pretty long lifespans. Both of these can also go horribly wrong though. Nia is one of those, and I will shortly talk about why she became one, but the other girls in the bath see her Flesh Eater core, and Poppy basically just ignores it despite knowing what Nia's core represents, and Mythra and Pyra ask Nia about it if they shouldn't tell anyone else, which Nia appreciates. Nothing else, no dumb questions or anything asked, just silently giving her the nod that they don't mind. No shock reaction, no gasping, just poorly respecting her privacy. Making her feel like a true normal person, despite having such a past. I mean, let's be honest, if you would befriend a cannibal in real life somehow, you would probably ask them about it, right? Which could make them pretty uncomfortable. I know, most people think it would be good to make a cannibal uncomfortable, to make them change through shame or something, but in the end you gotta decide for yourself. Most cannibals would probably understand it if you wouldn't want to be friends with them. Maybe you're even friends with one without knowing. Good thing that this is a video game, and video games are mostly fiction, so I don't have to use a real life moral compass to decide what's right or wrong. I can just say I want to be friends with a Welsh catgirl that ate a human without me having to feel bad about it. Even though I would also be her friend IRL and let her eat me, which she obviously wouldn't do, since she never wanted to do it in the first place and got forced to do it. I should have left this part out because now people will think I'm into weird stuff. Then there's also that one cutscene that people who haven't even played the game most likely saw because people kept making memes out of it. Yep, it's the love confession where Nia shows Vex her true feelings for him and reveals her blade form, finally showing everyone the truth of her actually being a blade and a Flesh Eater. And everyone just goes, damn, she's cool as hell. Nowadays we know that Vex really meant it when he said the line, but to be fair, there's some post-battle dialogue that can sometimes happen after fights after the scene that already hinted at something more to it.
The culmination of
Nia,
years of training.
About that thing you said that one time, well...
Huh? Oh, right. You're asking now. Now's not the time, we can talk later.
But obviously that was also no true confirmation if they were truly in love. Same with the New Game Plus title screen, which felt more like a cute little nod. With Xenoblade 3 though, we all know how they all ended up. In a game full of characters with sad backstories such as Vex growing up without his real parents, Mythra's whole self-doubt and self-hate for being too powerful and hurting her own friends with it, Towa being a loser without friends, wow he's just like me, and more, the one from Nia in a way is one of the worst ones in a really messed up way. Before Nia was the Nia everyone knows, she was just a normal blade, who belonged to a rich lord who had a daughter that was sick. Way too sick. Sadly not in the kind of radical way where she could do some cool tricks on a skateboard. In the search of a cure, the dad sold all the things he had and they then had to drift around. Eventually his daughter passed away. Due to that loss, he made Nia consume her flesh and basically was the stand-in daughter now. He even made her call him her father, which is just all kinds of messed up, but also sad in a tragic way because the man clearly lost his mind from when his real daughter died. When she became a Flesh Eater, she gained much more power and she basically can heal any kind of anything now through her cell generation. This is the person headcanon, but I think in one way the two Flesh Eaters we truly know found their newly gained powers by suffering through the loss of someone else. Jin blamed himself for not being strong and fast enough to save Laura, so when he became a Flesh Eater he wanted to be even stronger, even faster, so he would never let anyone close to him die again, and that's what he gained. For Nia, it would have been a loss of the rich dude's daughter and maybe her blaming herself for it, not being able to already heal her perfectly because a normal blade just can't be that powerful. So when she became a Flesh Eater, she wanted to become the best healing blade possible that can cure any diseases so people wouldn't have to die anymore, or at least not early on in their life. When Nia reveals her backstory, she kinda fakes it a tiny bit, telling the others that she was just the guy's normal daughter instead of being his blade since she was still hiding that fact. She tells him about how he made her learn good manners and all that, and how those were the happiest times of her life, till her sister passed away. We know that the driver's personality can influence the blade's personality, and when you think of a rich, classy person, you probably think of someone who is softly spoken. They know how to eat chips without getting greedy hands, those kind of things. Not the rich type of person who sniffs 5 lines of coke daily. There's no true way to know how Nia was before she became the Nia we know. Did she always have a bratty side to her? Was she even a healing blade before already? I personally think she was a tiny bit bratty already, because she talks about how she hated studying, but still always followed those orders because she thought she had to as a blade, and also because she didn't want to disappoint her dad or sister. She still cried when her dad died, but that doesn't mean she still loved him at that point. Maybe it was out of pity too, to a degree. Many people still feel sadness when an abusive person close to them dies, even if you kinda think you shouldn't really feel bad about it. Nobody was holding Nia back from doing what she wants to do anymore, and obviously she also was on the run because Indoline was hunting down any flesh or blade eaters, and that hardened you up too. Still talking and acting like a lady would just draw more attention to her, so she just started being who she always wanted to be, being able to say swears like the cool kid on the block. All of this is just me assuming it, but I do think it makes the most sense, leaving behind your old self for your new self and trying to get as far away from it as possible to kinda bury those memories. Then you also got her in Xenoblade 3 and she's basically still the same, just a bit more royal because of the role she had to take on, but only when people are around. Aside from that, she's still the same kitty, which just perfectly fits her. I really hope one day we will get more of her being a mom. You can't just turn her into one and never show her trying to scold Mio or Glimmer or Mithra's kid, if we will ever find out about that one. A nice slice of life game where you learn more about their family life. We will never get that. Maybe one day we can get Granny Nia though. Messed up backstory, check. Optimistic, check. Bratty, check. Cute, check. Funny, check. Checks, checked, check. I got a bingo in my I like these things in a character's personality bingo, yay, even though there's so many more things that I could bingo here, but then the video would go on for way too long. Sadly, personality isn't everything in life, regardless of how much we want that to be true. Most people also care about the outer part, the things you can see and hear.
I'm begging you, please let me get some sleep before it's already bright.
In Germany, we have a saying that goes, das Fass aufmachen. It translates to opening up a barrel. Sounds stupid, I know. It boils down to starting a discussion pretty much, one that was already debated to death. Something that will make you groan when you hear people argue about it. Which I won't, but it's something I have to talk about. I always play my games in the language they were created in, which means I first played through Xenoblade 2 in Japanese. Yeah, you can call me a weep now. If someone made a movie about the Hungarian Revolution of 1958, I would watch that in Hungarian instead of with English voices. That's how I see it. On my second playthrough, I played it with the English dub. Now there could be a whole discussion about what is better, what is worse, blah blah. I won't though, because in the end it doesn't matter. Enjoy what you want to enjoy. I'm not gonna sit here and make you download the Japanese voices from the eShop and break your Switch if you don't. Then why do I bring this up? Because if there's one thing that everyone knows Nia for, it's her Welsh accent that is just so distinct. Even people who have never played the game now hear for it, and Rex for his somewhat subpar screams at times sadly. The thing is, she's basically the same brat in both versions. It's not like she's suddenly a soft-spoken kitty in the Japanese version. She still has that brattiness engraved in her voice whenever she decides to be smart and a bit aggressive. Which is how it should be. Regardless of what you think of dubs, we can all agree on that it would not be good that they gave an unfitting way to talk to a character that could change their whole perception. A Welsh bratty cat might be funny to hear, but if it doesn't fit her original character, it would be a bit lame. Both versions fit her here luckily, and that's what counts. The Welsh accent makes her a tiny bit more special though.
あのね、あんたたちの相手してやるほどこっちは暇じゃないんだ。さあ、帰った帰った。なんだと？誰がちびるかい？この亀頭。は？なんで？
Listen, Pam. I'm sorry, but we really don't have time to play with you today. So hurry on home, okay? Did I what? You've got a lot of nerve, you one-eyed monster.
Nia, you do know one-eyed monster usually means...
Huh? Means what?
Obviously, she's also just really cute. When it comes to animal girls, I'm normally the bunny girls kind of guy because they have such big fluffy ears and they like to hop around and just be kinda stupid, like real bunnies. Cat girls on the other hand are basically the famous girls when it comes to animal girls. It's dumb to hate things just because they're popular, and I do not hate cat girls, I absolutely love them too, but basically it's always cat girls this, cat girls that when it comes to anime. They're everywhere, even in Xenoblade nowadays. Catgirls in Xenoblade 1, they didn't exist. Xenoblade 2, boom, Gormottis. Real Xenoblade fans would now actually call me out on one thing. It wasn't really Xenoblade 2 that introduced Catgirls to Xenoblade, but Xenoblade X with its ruffian ways, which I'm a big fan of. One day more people will get to play it, right? Which you could actually do right now. Emulating is pretty easy and it runs perfectly. The first thing you might notice about her is that her ears are backwards, which kinda already shows you she can be quite aggressive and anxious and protective, since that's what a cat means when she twists her ears backwards. And all of those things fit Nia in a way. She can be aggressive when needed, and she's anxious and protective of her true identity. Or maybe I'm looking way too deep into it and Saito, who designed her, was basically just, haha, funny cat has her ears on the wrong way, hehe. Maybe a mix of both actually. Her ears are just so cute in general. They wiggle around, they wobble around, and to me it was just always so cute just how many idle animations Xenoblade 2 had for basically every single character, combined with a massive amount of dialogue that came with it too for after the battle, during battle, and in general interactions. Something I missed a lot in Xenoblade 3, where the post-battle dialogue was the same 3 lines pretty much. She's just so expressive in all the cutscenes too. Look at this little cutscene. This one here is a top 5 smug Nia moment if I've ever seen one. Xenoblade 2 is just full of charm like that, but I don't want to get too dreamy about it because I could talk about it for hours if I would be a person of more words. That's why my video on it is just an hour instead of 15 hours, but maybe that will change one day and I will make another one that will go on for at least 24 hours. When it comes to fashion, she's a bit avant-garde with her jumpsuit, which most likely sucks to wear during summer, especially since she's still wearing other clothes underwear, but she wore it for her story-related reasons since she never wanted anyone to see her core crystal, and ether lines which blades usually have, and she didn't want people to think that she is one. This depends on the blade though. Some always show the ether lines, some only when they use a special attack, and Nia's ether lines are normally not seeable. They exist in the art book though. The jumpsuit looks cute on her and can also be taken as a metaphor for breaking out of her shell when she reveals her true form, which is this. Here, she reveals way more as you can see, and has longer hair, which I like, but something about her shorter hairstyle is just cuter. Most important thing is that her ears get even fluffier though. Fun fact, the official render of Blade Nia actually is missing her white stripes in her face, which they actually fixed on her figurine's render. Also, it's pretty much the lewdest outfit in the whole game in my opinion, in a game that is full of them. Like look at Nude, she's basically nude. Nia's leotard thingy has a see-through heart-shaped window on it right above her you know what. It basically makes it look like a womb tattoo. Or maybe my mind is just too far gone. Her shoes also got these insane spikes on them after her transformation and they scare me a little bit, but in a good way. You could stack apples or something on them. You know what they say, nobody is safe from propaganda, not even you. The thing is, in a way, the video is kinda useless because ask yourself, have you ever seen a single Nia hater? A person that disliked her somehow? I have not. You can hate the game, you can hate its designs, you can hate anything you want about it except for the soundtrack, but also you can hate Nia. I went onto Twitter, typed in Nia Xenoblade hate into the search and didn't find a single person actually saying they hate her. And that's rare. Try that with any other character and it won't look so pretty, most likely. Or actually don't, who cares in the end anyways? Never let other people ruin your enjoyment of something you enjoy. Nobody can suddenly make you not enjoy Nia anymore, it's impossible. She's one of those characters that just makes you think, damn, I really want to get a drink with them, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Someone to go to the theme park with and enjoy every attraction there is, even if you maybe don't like roller coasters, which should be a crime, they are too much fun not to like. And that's why I kinda made her the face of my channel, mostly because I needed some kind of identity. First I only used official art of her and quickly came to the point of hey, she has like no vendors at all and using in-game screens and cutting her out of them is also not working too well. How about picking up the pen? Something I always tried every once in a while but never stuck with because I'm the type of person that easily gives up such skills if I don't see improvement. Mostly because I never set myself a goal. Now I had a purpose though and just kept going. I still struggle a lot with it, which is to be expected, but one day I hopefully can draw like actual whole scenes and backgrounds and not just a Nia that I use as a PNG to create a thumbnail with it. I have to apologize for never drawing her core crystal though or cute ribbons in her hair, but I decided to take some artistic changes to draw her easier, like also never have to draw her in her actual outfit, which is a pain to draw, so I just make her use casual clothes with her color scheme or making her wear an outfit that fits like how I drew her as the link for my Zelda video. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, which was basically just me talking about why I like a fictional bratty Welsh, despite her not truly being Welsh, catgirl that doesn't truly exist, sadly. Have a good day, a good night, or whatever fits your time zone, bye bye, and also da bocce. I googled ways to say goodbye in Welsh and that was the best one.
Oder Boggy steigt in den Eimer. Oh, ist das traurig.